afternoon, TransByDef. It's Jenna. How are you today? Today's subject is going to be, or topic is surgeries done or wanted, which is a pretty large undertaking for us when we are transitioning and deciding, how much do I want, need, get away with, how much money do I have to work with, because transitional surgical costs are very expensive and they are climbing at a really high rate of speed. And as most of us know, those that have insurance coverage for this, whether it be national insurance coverage if you live outside the United States, or you're lucky enough to have an employer that has coverage for you through your work program. Otherwise, most of us pay out of pocket, and as I did myself. Just to give you a real quick rundown of stuff that I've done personally. I have had FFS with Dr. Osterhaus in San Francisco. I had implants, breast implants, saline here in Eastern Pennsylvania with a really cute doctor. I had GRS, GCS, whatever we're calling it this day, SRS, with Marcy Bauer in Trinidad, Colorado. And I think that covers my surgeries, I think. With Dr. Osterhout, I did the works, and I guess I'll dive in with people that would want FFS. And because it comes in so many varying works. I did, quote, the works with Dr. Osterhout. Originally when I met with him, I had a shopping list of pieces that I wanted to do. And, it's been so long now. I think that was 2003 that I did that surgery. I can't remember exactly what my shopping list was, but when I sat down with him in the consult, and we talked, I realized really he didn't really have to upsell me to get me to agree that I should probably do everything. For me, being able to pass in public with people that didn't know my past was very important for me, because I worked for a company that was boy toys, still work there. So it was kind of important for me to be somewhat invisible, even though some people knew who I was, but I wanted to be able to pass on a daily basis in public. And I felt FFS was going to help me achieve that. And, not 100% of the time, because we all know those days that you get someone looks, and then looks away, and then looks, and looks away, and then looks, and you've been clicked. But for the most part, I felt that was really important for me because of my professional career, and besides that, my personal comfort level. That was really important for me. I had the brow bossing done, the nose, Dr. Osterhouse, 2 noses. I had one of the noses. I had lip raise, brow bossing, nose, cheeks, upper lip was raised, implant in the upper lip, jaw was broken and pushed in some, and the square was taken out. And now that I'm fat and older, you can't see it anyway, but I still feel comfortable up here. And I did the trach shave also, scalp advancement, all that good stuff. That was probably one of the most painful surgeries that I ever undertook. And when a doctor gives you multiple prescriptions for painkillers and tells you if there was ever a time to medicate, this is it. Hang on a minute. if there was ever a time, if there was ever a time to self-medicate, that was it. I was basically a zombie for 3 months, and 6 months before the swelling started to come out that I could see who I was going to be afterwards, which was significantly different. Surgery is not something. After that, I found surgery was not something that you should take very casually. Should be really something that's thought out, and not something that another person should tell you should do, or what you need or you don't need. It's a personal opinion. I believe Harley alluded to that. It's a personal thing that you really need to consider for yourself, and unless you really needed someone else's opinion, it's not something that you should feel you have to do, but it's something that, whatever that burning desire is that you have, then by all means I would suggest that you do it. So that was probably the biggest one that I did, the most painful, and it was probably one of the times that I was in a group called FF Support. It was a Yahoo group, I believe, and that was probably one of the times I seen more trans people fight about surgical operations or procedures, and I mean, to the point of being consuming, and I just, please stop. It was too much, but I did that, and it gave me a peace of mind and helped me, go through life and through society being comfortable. The day that I left San Francisco to come home, it was just before Christmas, and I got stuck in a snowstorm in I believe Kentucky, and coming home, and a little girl was standing in line with me while we were waiting to be redirected from all the flights were canceled, from another plane to another plane to another plane, and she said, "Ma'am, were you in a car accident?" And that was, even though I was a mess and I was in a lot of pain, that was really a good thing for me, because it let me know at that point in time that I was going to be able to go under the radar as deep as I wanted to anyway. So FFS was something that I wanted, and it was something that I needed, because my features were strongly male, not to the point of ridiculous, but I did do crowd bossing. I needed all that stuff, and so I am glad I did that. But there's people that don't need a whole lot of work. There's people that don't need any work, and damn, I'm jealous. But having when you transition later in life, when you're younger, in your teens and 20s, you can avoid some of the testosterone poisoning if you're going from male to female. And I guess I did, I lost a lot of weight in that period of time. It wasn't surgical in nature, but part of helping get underneath the radar. I was lucky that I was small, but getting underneath the radar, weight loss was also important, not only for helping me pass more, but since I was going to be on hormones and such, it was important that I not only had the surgical aspect of the work done, but also I lost the weight and got in shape with what I need to do there. Suggestions for people that are going to have surgery: you need not to be smoking. You need to really curb your alcohol consumption if that's what your thing is, or drugs for some of us. And you really need to be healthy and in really good shape to undergo major surgical interventions, because they're nothing to be taken lightly. Very serious stuff. GRS for me, initially I was going to go with Dr. Bernard Burchard, and I wanted to go to Thailand to Dr. Sapwan, and after 9/11 I kind of was afraid to leave the country, so I'm still afraid to leave the country. I went with a friend to Trinidad. We did all our surgeries together, and I went there to hold her hand and ended up signing up at Marcy when I was there and coming home, and the applications for Montreal were sitting on my work desk, and I threw them in the garbage can, and I went forward with Marcy and did what I did. GCS, SRS, this gender reassignment surgery is also something that's the price is escalating ridiculously fast. The results that I obtained, I fooled my gynecologist. So Marcy did a really good job aesthetically speaking, and I planned on being intimate, so it was important to me that everything semi-functioned. One of the risks with SRS, for those that are going to do that, is that you have to be aware that there are risks in that also. If you had problems performing sexually before, it's going to be enhanced afterwards. It's just the way it is. If you had surgery, 9 out of 10 end up working where you are functional and you orgasm. 10% don't. And that's a real number, it's a hard number. And I'm sure that's improving as time goes on, but if there was dysfunction before, there'll be dysfunction afterwards. That's a cold hard fact. And I've watched people that have had surgery thinking that their problem would be cured afterwards, and it wasn't, for the most part. So that's something to consider. Mentally, what you should be considering with bottom surgery is that you're never going to be a genetic female. You will have aesthetic looks, and you will fool a gynecologist, but there is, it is what it is. It is it's a vagina, and it works and functions, but it is not like a birth vagina of a woman that's born cis. It's just not. And you need to understand that going in. And your partners, if you're going to be sexually active, especially if you're going to be in a heterosexual type of relationship, you need to work with them also and let them, know there's a difference. And there's a regimen that you have to consider with the dilation and all that. And dilation really sucks. It's a pain in the ass. The good news is the longer you're post-op, the less often you have to do it. But the mantra of use it or lose it does exist, and it is real. So that's something to consider when you're doing bottom surgery, if you're going to do that. And you really need to do your homework. You really, really, really do. Some people may want to wait longer because we are evolving. Surgical procedures are evolving all the time. So if you're really young, you might want to wait. If you're older, then you may be willing to do something sooner. The other aspect that I did, as far as surgery goes, is breast augmentation. And I didn't want to be a bit, all I wanted to do was round out my body so that I was uniform. I've seen people that have gone overboard. It makes no sense. Personally, that's my opinion, but you want not to draw attention to yourself. And so when I did my implants and everything, they were to keep my body, symmetrical as far as a female body would go. So, another thing to consider is saline. Do you do saline? Do you do cohesive gels? What do you want to do? These are all personal things that you really have to discuss with your surgeon. All these surgeries you have to discuss with your surgeon, and all of them are a very personal decision that only you can make and not someone else. Because everybody knows my surgeon's better than yours. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I hope I covered this topic well enough for you. I look forward to next week's and the weeks after. We got some good ones coming for you, and I hope that you're liking some of the new faces that we have at TransByDef, and we look forward to your comments and a warm summer coming. Have a great weekend. Take care all. Bye. Peace.